the helmet, I use German field grey as a base coat. So let's do it. So you want to paint all the helmet in German field grey. Like so. It's looking a bit light, you might be saying, but we're going to add that same black wash over the top. Then we're going to water this German field grey down a bit, and we'll blend back to the top to a light colour. So what we'll do is we'll start, put a ring of the German grey around here, and we'll work it back to the top of the helmet to give the appearance that it's slightly lighter on top. And then we'll just do a German grey ring around here, just so it makes that little indent there pop a little bit. Now, close up, it'll look a little bit too much. Further back on the game table, it'll all start to pan out for you. Now, I'm painting this to a very high tabletop quality. You could probably go higher again in the quality and in the detail, but this is just to a high tabletop quality. So, alright guys, we'll let that dry, and I'll come back and add the wash. Good old wash. So what we want to do, we want to put a bit on the brush, work a ring around the helmet, that ring, so we get that nice dark ring, then paint the helmet on top. Now, one mistake, I can already see what I've done with this figure, but since it's just a showing figure, if you can see, I didn't take that mold line out, and that's going to show, but I'm going to paint that out. But you can see that if you're doing figures to an extremely high standard, that wouldn't be acceptable. You'd have to get rid of that mold line. It's as easy as just a little file. I'd say use a knife, but I don't like to use a knife on this figure, on this size of figure. I like to use a file and just little tiny bits at a time, just file him away nice and flat. If you use a knife, sometimes you can take a little dent out, and then when you add your wash, it's worse than what the mold line is. So we'll let that dry and we'll be back. What we're going to do is we're going to take German grey, same colour that we used on the helmet, the base coat of the helmet, and we're going to put a ring around the helmet, like so. The only difference is I watered it down a little bit, and then we on the top like so, and we just paint the top, and then we'll slowly drag that small ring that we did, we'll drag that around until it's a faint line, like so. And I've painted that little mold line out. It's there very slightly, but it's 95% painted out. Don't be afraid to come down onto down a little bit just to that line, so it's not so dark, like so. Then I take my German grey and I paint the very rim of the helmet down here in straight, non-watered down. Like so. Just like that. And from there we can go to the face, or we can start doing some hair marks. Actually, I might do the marks. Okay guys, one side, which is normally the right side of the helmet, which is here, we're going to do the eagle, and this side we'll do the hair mark. Yes, these helmets, the Fallschirm did have hair marks on their helmets. The camo helmets, there was nothing on their helmets, but the Grenadier helmets, or just the normal Wehrmacht helmets that they also had, the only difference was they had the Luftwaffe symbol, or just the little eagle here. Actually, I don't even think it was the Luftwaffe, I think it was just the eagle. And here they definitely had hair. So we'll start with the hair. Now, this is some fine work. So what we do here, we make a small black line. Then I turn the figure around like this. Just work it down into a shield shape, like so. Now that's black. Then I take ivory. I never use white. It's just way too white. This is like in between a bleached bone and a skull white. It's Vallejo model version, I guess, of bleached bone. And I very finely do a line like that from one end of the shield down to the bottom of the shield on a diagonal. Then I get my red paint, which is just flat red, and the hardest bit of the lot, do a little red. Like so. It's now, let's see if I can get this to focus. Like so. That's your hair mark. That's probably about the finest you're ever going to do, unless you go like me and go a bit stupid and you do piping. But there's your hair mark. From a distance, it's not as noticeable as what people might think, but hey, you know it's there, and those small details you can point out to people when they walk in and go, you know, oh yeah, that's a nice German army. And you say, well, have a look at the helmet and some of the details. They sneak down and then everything starts popping at them. So the hair mark, that's the easy one. The eagle, this is the hard one. Now what I like to do is I just do a little line on a slight curve, just slightly curved. You have one wing that comes up like that, and then one wing that sort of goes out on a bit of an angle that's more flatter to the original. So sort of one wing. You want to work with fairly moist paint, so I suggest wet palette. But you don't want super runny paint. You don't want watered down paint. I think I've bumped this a few times. I hope some of this has come out. Now you got one thing up your sleeve here. you can see that that eagle's wing over this side is way too long. Because I haven't used a serious blending of colours, we can get our German field grey again and just very carefully correct it and bring it back to a little bit more of a eagle. I'm not going to the bullshit and trying to put a swastika down the bottom here. That's full on. From a distance, it's actually quite nice. Close up on the eagle, it doesn't look too bad, but with the hair and the eagle, it definitely adds something to your figures.